Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel where we use English to talk about anything. So, how's your Ramadan so far? I hope everything is going well. Ramadan is truly a blessed month. During this time, we are encouraged to increase our worship and strengthen our connection with Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. But how exactly can we get to know Allah better? Well, I will not try to answer that because my knowledge is still far from enough to discuss about such a deep topic. However, a few Ramadans ago, my perspective on worship and knowing Allah changed after reading this book. Tadaan! Merasa Pintar, Bodoh Saja Tidak Punya by Rusdi Mathari. The title in English is Feeling Smart But Don't Even Have Stupidity. This book became a bestseller, and I believe that every bestseller has a strong reason behind its success. And finally, I got it why. At first glance, this book falls under the religious genre, but it's far from the typical religious book that might feel heavy or monotonous, because this book contains humor and unexpected twists. But it's rated for 18 plus, and after reading it, I understood why. Because this book has some profound messages that require a certain level of maturity to fully grasp. This really challenges our mindset. This book is divided into two major chapters, first Ramadan and second Ramadan, and each chapter has multiple subchapters. There is no single overarching plot, but this book discusses different topics while maintaining continuity, especially through the recurring characters and their evolving stories. Now let's dive into the 3 key lessons I took from this book. The first lesson, expanding our patience and understanding. One of the subchapters tells a story about Romlah and Jatlahom, which beautifully illustrates the concept of patience and having an open heart. Jatlahom asked Romlah to bring a handful of salt and a glass of water. And then he told her to sprinkle just a little bit of the salt into the glass and take a sip. Of course, the water tasted salty. After that, he took her to the lake and asked her to throw the entire handful of the salt into the lake. And then he told her to drink the lake water. And then what happened? The water remained fresh and unaffected by the salt. Chatlaham used this analogy to describe our hearts. The glass of water represents a narrow heart, which is easily overwhelmed by problems and hardships. The lake, on the other hand, represents a vast heart, the one that is spacious enough to absorb difficulties without being consumed by them. Wah, I think this is the essence of having a broad heart. It also reminds me about a verse in Surah At-Taha, which is verse 25. Qala Rabbi shrah li sadari. He, Musa, said, "O my Lord, expand for me my chest." In real life, we all face situations where we need to expand our heart and our patience. I once experienced a personal disappointment involving a person I deeply valued. At the time, I felt like I'm the worst person ever, as if I had let them completely down. I blamed myself on what I did wrong, but over time, through reflection, I realized something important. Instead of just focusing on what I lost, I needed to understand myself better and had to love myself more rather than seeking validation from others. If I hadn't made the effort to broaden my perspective at the time, I might have remained stuck in endless self-blame and regret, of course. Another example is from my early university years. Back then, everyone was eager to join organizations and committees. I also applied to many, but I faced rejection after rejection. Probably because in high school I didn't have much experience outside the academics because my high school was only 2 years, so I couldn't participate to many uh, many activities outside my academics, such as extracurricular and organization. Actually, I regretted not being active in extracurricular. But if I had kept my heart as small as a glass, I might have given up, blamed the situation, and endlessly regretted the past, playing the ultimate victim of rejection. Instead, I reflected. I tried to figure out what went wrong and worked on improving what could actually be improved. I applied for smaller committees, improved my skills, polished my CV, and practiced interviews. And eventually, by the end of my first year, I landed an internship that was beyond my expectations. But here's the thing, having an open heart and resilience is a gift from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Allah is the one who gave me the strength to reflect, to rise again, and to keep moving forward. But that also happened because I was willing to take that step. If I had limited my heart to the size of a glass, I would have given up. But by making it as fast as a lake, I found clarity and growth. The second lesson, mind your words. One subchapter tells a fascinating story about Cak Dlahom, who decided to stop speaking for several days. The reason? Well, he realized he had been talking too much, giving advice, trying to be wise, but not living up to his own words. He felt he spoke more for validation than for genuine sincerity. The story made me reflect on myself. It made me question, do I always speak with sincerity, or am I sometimes just seeking validations? That's why I created this channel, to share, not to lecture, because I know there is still so much I don't know yet, so acting like I have all of the answers wouldn't feel right. The shift in mindset made me realize that whenever I speak, I don't want to act like I know everything and silence others just to make my point. I also don't want to cut people off just because I believe that my opinion is the only right one. And in today's era where social media amplifies every voice, this lesson becomes even more important. Yes, we have the right to voice our opinions, but before posting or commenting, we should pause and ask, is this necessary? Will this hurt someone? And more. Because not every thought needs to be spoken and not every opinion needs to be shared. It's okay to share or post, but if you think it might offend or hurt certain people, it's better to reconsider. And then the last lesson, do we truly miss Ramadan? Yes, Ramadan is a blessed month where our good deeds are multiplied. It's also a great opportunity to do good, like helping others, strengthening our relationships, and many more. But let's be honest. Do we actually enjoy fasting for 14 hours while juggling work or school? On top, on top of that, we are encouraged to do Tarawih, Tadarus Quran, and many more. It's a packed schedule. Of course, fasting has many benefits. It's good for our health. It acts like a detox and helps us to control our consumption. But do we really like doing it? If we being completely honest, maybe not. Maybe we don't like it. Yet, despite these challenges, we still fast. We still do it. We are willing, prepared, and sincere. And that's the key. You don't have to like it, but you do it anyway with sincerity and readiness. That's what elevates your status in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is a quote in this book. Something that is made obligatory is something people naturally do not like doing. If people loved doing it, then why would it need to be made obligatory? This also applies to making a positive change in life. Doing what we like is easy, but stepping out of our comfort zone, that's what truly makes a difference. For example, imagine two students with the same conditions: financial background, family support, intelligence level, and so on. But despite having a stable life or even a secured future due to family connections, one of them chooses to seek additional experiences, engage in activities outside the college, and challenge themselves to develop problem-solving skills. Meanwhile, the other simply goes with the flow, attending classes without having any clear goal. Even from our perspective, the first student stands out, right? So imagine how much more it matters in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It also reminds me about Kak Zafira Akila. You can search it on YouTube because she is also a content creator on YouTube. She was having a bachelor degree in Osaka University in Japan, and for the master degree in Harvard University. She is also the founder of Taulabi, which is a sex education platform. And she mentioned before in one of her contents that she has the privilege to study abroad because her parents and her brothers studied abroad. So she has the knowledge, the information about studying abroad, and the connection, and also the mindset. She is very good at leveraging her privilege, especially for studying abroad. Now, back to the fasting and Ramadan. We do it willingly and sincerely, not because it's easy, but because we know that it's good for us. And that's exactly what makes it meaningful, choosing what's right even when it's not comfortable. That's what builds true strength in faith and in life. These are just 3 of many lessons from this book, and honestly, each chapter offers something thought-provoking. So, to wrap things up, let's go back to the question: do we truly miss Ramadan? Maybe we don't enjoy every aspect of it, but we need it. We embrace it because we know it's good for us, just like stepping out of our comfort zone, just like expanding our patience, and just like learning to control our words. Ramadan is a time for transformation. So let's make the most in this month, not just in worship, but also in personal growth. If you find this video valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comment section below. See you in the next video. Bye bye.